Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to do a little bit of an update into GAN Stock. I know a few guys have asked about this one and do a little bit of an update on this one. I think skills is maybe another one that you want to see at some point, so I'll see if I get enough time to go around and do a skills update as well. But I know this one is one that's quite linked to the channel as well, so I thought it'd be a good one to do. Now I actually did a little bit of an update on Patreon a few days ago, but I thought because it's a channel that's well known for GAN, it'd be also worth doing this update on the main channel. We're going to do a little bit of an update with the point of view of updating from the Q4 that just happened. So if you want more of like a basic breakdown of what GAN does and everything like that, there's previous videos on the channel. But the main thing to say is that I think these guys will benefit because of their software that they have, which allows a lot of other like classic casinos to come online and do online gambling through their platform. Basically the Shopify of online gambling. And when online gambling is allowed in more and more states, these guys will benefit from having a great platform with great market share, and it will go up in value in the next 2 to 5 years. Now, I think it's very important to say that GAN, I've seen a lot of people judging, a lot of people being used to stocks that go up and up and up, and people are now judging stocks, how good they are, off like 6 months. And a GAN that relies on a lot of states to be allowed to judge that off 6 months would be really criminal to do that. You've got to think about the long picture with this sort of company when more and more states allowed in the next 2 to 5 years. At the same point, you have to be like, well, if it's still not performing that well, you need to also be mindful that you actually jump out of a stock before you push. So we don't be, have our money tied up in a company for, 2-3 years and then go, actually, this isn't performing that well. You want to be, realizing that a lot earlier, and also before Wall Street realizes as well. So we've also got to bear that in mind. So there'll be a lot of that kind of talked about today, is like thinking about what's the picture in the long term, and also being mindful that it does need to have some sort of performance with it going on. But yeah, I mean, like the other day I got asked about, someone actually sent me messages about like where I see a company going in 3 months, and it was like, you can't judge a long-term investment of 3 months that's just like 50-50 if it's going to go up or down in 3 months. A long-term investment, GAN is a company that I've been in for 6 months. And when I buy a company in the first 6 months, I don't expect a company in the first 6 months to go, up crazy amounts. If it does, that's amazing. We hit a home run, we move on to the next one. But most of the time, I don't expect a company that I buy to do anything for like the first 6 to 12 months. And then afterwards, when we get into like the 12 months hold, is when I start wanting to see a company kick on. And GAN's kind of like, we're 6 months in. By the time we get around to the end of this year, we will be about 18 months in. And when we get to the point of this year, I would expect GAN to start kicking on a little bit. So this is kind of now the period where GAN, in my opinion, does need to start kicking on. But the last 6 months is where you just let it start building up a little bit. So I think it's also really important to remember that point of view is not to like judge a company so early, especially a company like these guys as well. So I think that's really important to say about this company as well. And I think as well, when you look at the share price as well, I don't think that did any favors for the company, because when you have a share price that just goes up and up and up like that, I think he just got caught in one of the tech kind of false market that we was in, and it had the snapback. And unfortunately, I think that that's why I'm always a fan of companies just steadily going up month after month, like an InMo, like a Microsoft. So yeah, I think from that point of view, if you ever get in that situation, that's why the valuation just jumps up so much, I never blame anyone for taking profit, because you take a nice little bit of profit, and if it does carry on going up, fair enough, you've still got a massive amount of shares of it going up. But if it does go down and you did take a little 10-15% profit, then you can buy back in when the stock dips anyway. But anyway, that's enough about just short-term outlooks and long-term outlooks. Thought I'd just cover that. But if you could smash the like button if you're new, subscribe, and we'll take a look at GAN. So yeah, like I said, we're focusing mostly on the Q4. So the Q4, the sales and revenue was below expectations, and for me, I have to say, like, the Q4 was a pretty poor Q4 for GAN. The sales and the revenue were not great, and we do need to start, we, even if we're investing into a company for the long term, we do need to see it still performing okay in the short term. Even before the catalysts kick in, we still want to see it doing quite well. But the Q4 revenue side of it was a miss. The actual EPS as well was a miss, which was the thing, like, okay, is what's going on with this company? So I actually listened to the conference call. There's a lot of good information on there if you haven't listened to it and you're a GAN shareholder. Basically, the sales and revenue missed because the main thing is there was a few things that was that affected. So they had one client that ceased, which would have been fine. Like when you're a platform like GAN, you're always going to have a couple of clients that might go. The important thing is every time you lose one client, you're gaining like 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's what's happening with GAN. It's not like it's where you're losing customers where like one comes in, you lose another one. So that was absolutely fine because, like I say, the amount of the customers that have got to replace that, that's always going to happen. And they would have hit sales and revenue targets, if without that, that client going, they would have been fine. The one other thing that they kind of missed is there was the Michigan launch, where Michigan was going to allow a lot of online gaming, where you have you win casinos coming into this area, which is the big client they've signed. That would have started to get shown in this Q4. But that Michigan launch, which is no fault of GAN, has been delayed into Q1. So you won't see the Michigan launch numbers until Q1. So that would have been another thing where Q4 would have looked amazing if they had that. So that's another thing that didn't work out in GAN's favour. But the other thing as well is they were supposed to get some a license fee. I think the payment was like $3 million. Anyway, the payment for the license fee got delayed and it didn't come in until Q1, or it's not going to get shown into Q1. So basically, if that payment got paid when they thought it was going to get paid, the revenue and EPS would have met the targets that was set, and we wouldn't be talking about this, and it probably wouldn't have had that dip. So that was something that will show up in Q1 and why the miss happened. So from that point of view, GAN could have maybe managed that a little bit better, but at the end of the day, that only is going to benefit Q1 in the future as well. When I knew that information, I wasn't as so disappointed, apart from that maybe management could manage the expectations a little bit more, but it wasn't awful. And that was really the root cause of the drop. And when I show you the actual positives in the next few minutes, you'll actually look and go, so actually this has created a nice buying opportunity back at $18. And as you know, the video that I did yesterday is I actually have bought some more shares in GAN thanks to the dip that happened in the stock. But we'll go through some of the positives. The positives were pretty good. So it will be interesting. Like I say, this next 12 months now is the next big period for GAN, and if they do hit what they've said, the stock will do very well. So new client, Westgate. So they've got Westgate now. So you add that into the list of the clients that they've already signed, the market share they currently have, which I think is like 20% of the Michigan, against the other, with their clients compared to like the Golden Nuggets and DraftKings and everyone like that. New client, Westgate. So that's great that they're signing another new client, especially someone like them. They have a lot of casinos out there. Which I think casinos is actually one of the better sides of online gambling at the moment. So that was another great client they've got. Next up, the MI launch, Michigan launch. This is the big one. So this is what we thought were going to happen in November in Q4. We then thought, we might get it in December. Didn't happen. It ended up being in, I think it was January it ended up happening. And this is one of the next big catalysts. The reason why the sales and revenue look so poor is because we haven't had that many state launches for a while. This new state launch will be the catalyst, and this is why they've also raised guidance. This will be the catalyst for DraftKings, for GAN, for Golden Nugget. The Michigan launch will be huge, massive state. Now, the Michigan launch will be the thing that helps revenue grow up, the profit goes up, and will be the next catalyst. And like I said, this is the reason why the guidance was up. From what we heard at the moment, the Michigan launch from GAN, from GNOG, and from DraftKings is that it's going better than expected. And this is for everyone. And you look at the numbers that are coming out at the moment, they're pretty impressive. And pretty much GAN went on to say, like, the Michigan launch is pretty much what we needed. And at the moment, the Q1 looks like it's going to be the best on record. Now, we would hope for that anyway. But I think that the Michigan launch, we'll find out some numbers. This is what we've been waiting for. And this might be absolutely huge. So that's what we need to keep an eye on in Q1. Now, the positive is that we don't have to wait that long. The actual next earnings report for GAN is actually going to come next month in May. So we don't have to wait too many weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, and we'll actually get an update onto this Michigan launch, and this could be huge. Now, because of the Michigan launch going that well, what GAN did is they actually raised guidance. They raised guidance to about 105 million in revenue, which is a massive raise. This company, that would put the company this year doing over 100% revenue growth, which is insane. There's not many companies out here that grow at that sort of rate. And if you work out the valuation that the company is currently at, if GAN hits their 105 revenue for 2021, the stock price is going to go absolutely huge. I think that would put it at a price to sales ratio of something like 8 or something, which is really cheap. You look at DraftKings is something like 30, and even like other tech stocks. I think like I was looking at Teledoc the other day, and they trade at like a price to sales ratio of 30, and they're 100% growth company, and that's helped with the Vongo deal that they've had. So that's another one. Palantir, I looked at that one the other day. I think they're at a price to sales ratio of like 44 or something. So these guys, that if they hit that guidance, in my opinion, the stock will go above $30 this year, and we're already in April as well. So it's not too many months for a stock price to go up that much. So the guidance was the big thing, because sure, it might be a weak Q4, but this is what we've all been waiting for. And if they're raising the guidance that much because they're impressed with this launch that much, really big positives for us guys. So yeah, if they do hit this guidance, I think it's a game changer for GAN. So yeah, that's what we have to wait for, and we don't have to wait that long. So that will be the big. This is kind of like the make or break thing for me. If this is a good quarter, it'd be like, that's it, GAN's done. It's off up to a $100 stock in the next few years. Whereas if it's a weak quarter with this going on, then that would be the point where I reassess it. But it looks really positive with what's going on. Also, they went on to say that we do have more states coming, which would be amazing. Obviously, more revenue coming in, and they're also going to aim for getting back to profitability. So this is what I said earlier. It's a company that has an amazing balance sheet, amazing growth, and it used to be profitable. And having a profitable 100% growth company is insane. And it's going to try and get back there. This year was always really tricky because it had its IPO. It also had the Coolbet acquisition, so it was always hard for it to do it. But if it can get back there, another positive for the company going forward. So overall, I think the Q4 could have been better for GAN. But when I look into this guidance and this MI launch, I am really excited for the next quarter. I think the next quarter will be more of the make or break point of where we see GAN kick on. And let's be honest, if GAN do deliver an amazing quarter in Q1 with that Michigan launch, and the guidance as well, if we do start seeing them pull out some amazing numbers, next quarter should be the point where we see GAN on the share price front start trading at a more respected valuation, and it should at least go above $20. So yeah, we don't have to wait long. We only have to wait 6 or 7 weeks, but from what I saw, from what they were saying with how excited they were with Michigan and the guidance, it looks pretty positive. So I was quite happy from that point of view, because like I say, I wasn't buying this company just for the sole purpose of Q4. It's more of this what I'm buying it for, and it looks like it's going quite well. But yeah, we'll reassess it in 6 or 7 weeks, but I'm quite happy where it is right now from what I heard about how well things are going. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of an update when we know more in 6 or 7 weeks time. But I was that happy with it that I did buy some more shares, so I guess that kind of sums it up perfectly, I guess. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it anyway. Smash the like button, that'd be amazing. If you're new, subscribe as well, and I'll see you on the next video.